Mhm. All right, welcome to Calm the F Down, a masterclass for understanding herbs for the nervous system. I'm super excited to talk about these plants and how we can use them beneficially in our life to support ourselves through difficult times, through changes, and just like the craziness that is life, right? The more we're able to understand how to use them effectively and how to mix and match them, the better we can acquaint ourselves with them. So let's just jump right in. So aside from who I said can't turn their camera on, y'all doing pretty good. So please keep your camera on because it does make it a lot easier for me to, just exchange the energy with you if I can see you. I know it's not always ideal, and sometimes we get on these Zooms looking a hot mess with the expectations of not showing our face, but if you can, we're all friends here. And it makes it a lot easier. Also, ask questions. I am super ask 1,000 questions to get the clarity I need. So please don't be afraid to ask. There's no stupid question. And even if it is a silly question, if it gives you the clarity you need, then it's not a bad question. And you never know, someone else might be afraid to ask that same exact question. But I can't necessarily, when I'm sharing my screen, see what's going on in the chat. Can anybody be my chat helper and let me know when there is a question in case someone types it in and I can't see it? Anyone? All right, Amelia, thank you. Just let me know and you can just stop me and I'll answer it. Also, take notes. You'll get a playback for this, but it'll only be available to replay for a few days. So take notes so you can remember the information and reflect back on it and refer back to it as you're on your own herbal journey. So we're going to go a little bit about me. We're going to do a quick little nervous system breath work. It's my favorite one. Get us tuned in. Just go over a little bit, how do the herbs even work in the nervous system? Just a quick and dirty, not a whole anatomy class. Then we're going to talk about herbal actions and then what you can do to continue learning more about this stuff. So here's my little about me. So a lot of people who signed up, they haven't known me for very long. So this is just a little bit about me. My name is Katie. I'm originally from Los Angeles, and I went to school and had my son, who you can see all throughout here, in New York City. And that was very much where my herbal path began. I went through a pretty bad breakup, ended with physical violence and a restraining order. And to get myself back together, I was very synchronistically led on a journey to plant medicine. And then not long after that, I got pregnant and my journey was like full-fledged. Once I became a mom, that was just it. And little dude and I, we've been riding in that ever since. I have been a placenta, I was a doula and a placenta encapsulator, and I started a East Alabama birth village with a few other doulas where we each taught childbirth education. And my part was the meditative and mental aspect of preparing for childbirth, as well as herbs and nutrition. And then I was at many home births as well as hospital births and did placenta encapsulation for many clients and other people. I have my spirit character from Fried Green Tomatoes. That's my wild woman, medicine woman archetype. And I have my grandmother and I because I'm a grandma and grandpa's girl, not a mom or not a mommy or daddy's girl. I'm a grandparent's girl, and their energy is very important in my healing work and my journey, and I carry them with me in all things. And then I also am a single mom to 2 kids. I became a guardian to Naya, who you can see on the bottom, a few years ago, and this is just our little hodgepodge life. And that's a little bit about me and how I got here. I have been doing herbal medicine for about 12 years, but I became official and decided that I would make a business about 2 years, stopped having it be my hustle. And so that's where we are today. That's me, Herb Lady Katie. Very nice to meet you. So before we get started, before you start taking any of these, if you're on antipsychotics, antiepileptics, anti-anesthetics, anesthetics, or if you're prone to psychosis or addiction, please seek professional help before you start taking any of these herbs. You really just want to be careful. Also, if you do start taking St. John's wort, check if you're on any medications, if there's a contraindication. St. John's wort can sometimes lessen the effectiveness of your pharmaceutical. And so you just want to make sure that, and there's a lot of research on St. John's wort. So if you just like plug it in Google, you'll be able to see if the pharmaceutical medication that you're on is okay to take with St. John's wort or not. Also, none of this is for diagnosis. This is purely intended for educational purposes, okay? Just to get that to be clear. We want to be safe. We want to use herbs safely. So, like, how do herbs affect the nervous system? Based on a lot of the research, where's the primary effect on the herbal constituents in the plants and their effects on the nervous system is happening in the synaptic junction. So from nerve to nerve, or nerve to muscle, and nerve to tissue. This is not my area of genius, but these are the different receptors, the GABA receptors, the dopaminergic receptors. These are the types of places that we're seeing the effect of the plants have on the body. So it's very much how things are communicating with each other, the way different hormones are being able to be released and then communicate. This is where we find that herbs are effective in talking to the nervous system. It's like, how do they do that, right? So each different plant has multiple constituents, right? They might have alkaloids or volatile oils or inulin or carbohydrates, different things. And these different parts have different effects on the body, and they get extracted in different ways. So when I'm saying try this herb for this, or this herb is good for this, in this class tonight, we're talking mostly taking them in tincture, meaning the solvent is tincture and they're extracted in alcohol, or the solvent is water and the medicinal constituents are extracted. You would take a tea and they're extracted through water, okay? I think this is super interesting, and the more you can understand the constituents of the plants and families, then you really are able to understand why the herbs work in certain ways and how you can tell the different ways it works. But we're not going to go into all of that in this class. In my herbal course, we have like a whole module about it, and I've like clarified it even more, so it's really easy to understand, because this part, it just like, I didn't get into herbs caring about this, but like the more into herbs I get, I'm like fired up about like how you can tell what's in it and how it helps and how you can get it, because it just makes your medicine more effective, right? So these are the different things, and I'm going to mention it a little bit. That's why I put the slide in. Okay, so before we begin this slide, I just want us all to have your feet grounded on the floor. We're going to just do a little bit of breaths. This is my favorite breath because I want us to kind of tap in, all be in the same frequency, and all speak to our nervous system, okay? So this is my favorite breath. What we're going to do, I'm just going to set the timer for 3 minutes, okay? And you're going to have your left hand over your heart, and your right hand in Gyan Mudra with your pointer finger and your thumb up to the side, right? So you have your passive hand on your heart, your active hand actively up. And we're going to, excuse me, we're going to breathe in, slow, complete, and hold the breath as long as we can. And then we're going to exhale slowly and completely and hold the breath out. Why we're doing this is when we hold the breath in, it speaks to our sympathetic nervous system. When we hold the breath out, it's to our parasympathetic nervous system. So as we're working the nervous system, herbs are great, but breath work is an amazing tool to go alongside. So I just want us to do this practice together, okay? So Let's take some cleansing breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale deeply to begin. Inhale, hold the breath. And then exhale, hold the breath out. Just continue this, keeping your eyes closed. Focus on your third eye between your eyebrows. You'll notice you can probably hold your breath in longer than you can out, and that's okay. As you breathe in and hold your breath in, notice if your shoulders are tense, drop them. After your next exhale, you can take 3 cleansing breaths. Keeping your eyes closed. All right. It's my favorite meditation. I actively work hard at not teaching it every time I teach yoga. All right, so let's get into it. So what are herbal actions? Because we're going to be talking about this as we go through each step. Herbal actions describe the observable clinical effects that herbs have on the body. So what does that mean? Basically, they're the way the herbs work in our body. They're the action that the herb has on our tissues, okay? So that's what I'm saying there. You know, you might hear like it's antispasmodic and it's an alternative, it's an adaptogen. These are all herbal actions and they're describing how the herb affects our bodies when we take it, okay? So keep in mind that herbs have multiple actions. So an herb is very rarely ever going to have one that's just going to be a nervine. It's probably going to be a nervine and an adaptogen, an antispasmodic, and maybe an aromatic. Like they might have multiple, action. Okay, so one plant might do multiple things. And the actions have multiple applications, meaning just because it's an an antispasmodic herb that you might want to use for the nervous system to release tension. It's also might be really good for the digestive system. It might also be really good for period cramps, okay? So just understand that herbs have multiple actions. They do multiple things, and the actions can have multiple ways that it's working in the body. Does that make sense? If not, we're going to talk about it, but just keep that in mind. That if you're like, wait, you said that herb was this and this and this, it can be more than one. So nervines, maybe nervines, I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it. I read it as nervines. But this is the umbrella term for herbs that have an effect on the nervous system, right? So there are multiple different types of actions within that. There are relaxants, there are sedatives, antispasmodics, nootropics, tonics, and adaptogens. So these are all different types of actions that nervine herbs will have on the body. I'm going to have these listed as I go through. So if you don't have them all in this list, everyone will still be listed as we go through. So we're going to go in this order as well, okay? So we're going to start with relaxants. These can also be considered antispasmodics. So relaxants help calm the nervous system. They're taken like acutely for times of immense stress, overwhelm, anxiety, tension. Like say you're overall doing all right, but you had like a really crazy day and you just feel totally tense and like can't calm down. You would use some of these herbs in a tea or take a little bit of a tincture to help calm that down. But you can also, if you are prone to anxiety, you can take them more tonically, more regularly. They're beneficial for insomnia when you are restless due to anxiety or irritability and you can't just like turn off. They have a beneficial effect for that type of insomnia. Now, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but in high doses, they have many qualities of sedative herbs in higher doses. Okay. I'm going to let you write that down. So these are just really calming and help you chill the F out, right? So, oops, I went backwards, my bad. So, some relaxant herbs: chamomile, catnip, damiana, lavender, lemon balm, linden, motherwort, passion flower, skullcap. These are some relaxant herbs. So note the ones with 1 star, they have antispasmodic benefits that are beneficial for the digestive system. So those are good for someone who has like who gets really stressed and has like a nervous stomach and can't necessarily eat when you're too stressed out, right? Because your stomach is just in knots. Those are herbs that will have a beneficial reaction and be able to calm that down, calm the digestive system down. Antispasmodic herbs tend to have they help relieve tension in smooth muscles. So, and a lot of these are antispasmodic. That's why they were called relaxant and antispasmodic. So that's why the ones with 2 stars, they help with menstrual cramping because the digestion and the stomach and the uterus are both smooth muscles. So these herbs, like I said, they have the application has multiple, the action has multiple applications. So these herbs are helping your nervous system, but they're also helping your digestive system. They're helping your reproductive system. Linden and damiana, they also have an affinity for the heart. So does lemon balm. So this is where in my course we could like have some fun in creating a tea that's relaxing, but maybe you need to relax from a broken heart, so we choose these herbs. Or maybe you need to relax because you have a knot in your stomach and you can't ever stomach food with the craziness of life and you want to do that. Or maybe you want to relax because you have a lot of PMS. We would look at certain herbs. So this is where it gets kind of fun in piecing together what the herbs have affinities for, and how to blend them. So, for example, try this for period cramps. These herbs could be good together in a tincture. For a general nervous system tea, you can put together these herbs. Oat straw and nettle are very nourishing. They're just general tonics. Chamomile, lemon balm, motherwort, mint, they have more of the volatile oils, and they will again help calm the nervous system, relax your muscles. And red clover is again a very nourishing herb. So this tea blend would help nourish you, tonify you, and calm you and relax you. Is this making sense how you would use these herbs? Sedatives. Now, these are also called hypnotics, and these help foster a deep sense of relaxation. Some sedative herbs are so strong that they can like disrupt daytime activities. They're not ones you want to take when you like have a lot of stuff to do. So you want to be cautious. And they're beneficial for insomnia, or if you're like panicking. But if you have insomnia that wakes you up in the middle of the, like in the morning hours, these are not the herbs you want to take for that type of insomnia. And they're also contraindicated if you're prone to depression. Okay. So these is, and you have to think, relaxant and sedatives, there's a lot of overlap, but think of the difference of the word relax versus sedate, right? They might have similar ways that you would use them, but one is going to be a little bit stronger. The other one is going to be more relaxing, right? And you'll see some overlap. There's some that are listed in both. So California poppy, cordalis, hops, Jamaican dogwood, kava kava, passion flower, wild lettuce, valerian. So it says, note that valerian and wild lettuce are best taken as a tincture. Wild lettuce, I have a video coming out about this, but when it's ready, what you'll like slice a little bit on the side, and you'll see this like white stuff come out, and that's the latex. And the latex in wild lettuce is the beneficial part of it, and it's only you can only extract it via alcohol. So you want to take that as a tincture, and you want to make sure it was fresh, because when it's dried, the latex is gone. And valerian tastes not great and is super bitter. So valerian is also better taken as a tincture if you want your tea to taste good. That's just my personal pro tip. I remember getting to know that plant. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And then I kept having cup after cup, just trying to make less and less and less. I was like, I'm not excited anymore. I'm not excited. I am not enjoying this. I was like, I thought I liked my tea bitter, but I do not. I do not like it. So as a tincture, much better.
Katie?
Okay. Yeah.
Did you say wild lettuce and valerian have the white sap like latex?
No, just wild lettuce.
Just wild lettuce. Thank you.
You want to take them both in tincture, not necessarily together, but just because both of them, that is the best way to extract those things. California poppy is better as a tincture as well. Same thing, we'll get to it later. Milky oats, when the stuff that you're squeezing out when the milky oats are ready, is also the latex, and that's what has its beneficial qualities for the nervous system. And they're not there once it's dried. The latex is not there once it's dried. So milky oats, you also would like that as a fresh tincture. Wild lettuce, you want that as a fresh tincture. You want valerian because it just doesn't taste good as a tea. So one way to use these herbs for insomnia, passion flower, valerian, and skullcap in a tincture is a nice blend. Now, try valerian on its own first, because oftentimes, in a rare case, Valerian can have the opposite effect on somebody. Most people, like, it'll calm them down, feel really relaxing. But some people, their constitution, it actually makes them wired. So if you do want to try before you make a whole tincture and waste all the products, right? If you're making this at home, make a tea, maybe try it a little bit and see how it does affect you. If it does make you more relaxed, calming, or if all of a sudden you're a little more wired. It's not as common, but it does, many clinical herbalists will report that does have that effect on some people. And you just never really know until you try. And then you make this tincture, and instead of falling asleep, you're like bouncing off the walls. You're like, what the heck happened? And it's probably that. And here's Rosemary Gladstone. She always has the yummiest recipes. Here's another soothing recipe. California poppy, chamomile, milky oat tops, marshmallow. So this is how you can use some of these together. So do you kind of understand between relaxant herbs and sedatives? It's a little confusing. Okay. So one thing I wanted to talk about is the way that a lot of the relaxing herbs did have the volatile oils. They are more aromatic. Therefore, they have effects on general calm and anxiety, but also the digestive system, the smooth muscles like the stomach and the uterus, okay? So that's a little bit different. Whereas the sedative herbs, they're more hypnotic and can have more of a sedating action. But many of the relaxant herbs, if used in high enough doses, can have sedative qualities. But very few of these herbs in the sedative section, they're not going to have that aromatic quality. You don't rub up on all of them and have those big smells and stuff, right? They might have their own smell, but not the same way that chamomile or lemon balm would, right? So you can kind of see the difference in the types of herbs. Does that make sense? Let me know when I can go to the next slide.
Can I ask another question about the latex?
Yeah.
So if someone is allergic to latex, should they not have valerian? And maybe that's why they have the
Well,
opposite.
not valerian. Valerian doesn't have latex.
Or not valerian.
The wild lettuce or
yeah.
milky oats. So I was looking into this as well. No, it's not like the same type of like latex in like gloves, right? It's not the same type of thing. So it shouldn't have the same type of effect. But, if you are going to try it, start with just a tiny little bit to see your response. But it's not the same type of latex. Yeah. It's a good question. All right, so here are two others. And these are a little bit different, right? Those are going to calm you down and help you relax from anxiety and stress, and you just can't shut down to sleep. These are going to kind of help you in other ways. So nootropics, they improve cognition and memory. So like if you're thinking too much and you're too anxious and then you can't focus, right? You'll want to use eleuthero or ginkgo or gotu kola, rhodiola, rosemary, right? They help make sure that, first of all, there's enough blood flow going to the brain. So it's getting enough energy. So it's getting what it needs to be able to function. They're also going to help focus, right? Gotu kola and rosemary and ginkgo are really great with the brain. They show that they help cognitive function and memory and focus. And we're going to see some of these in other ways. Eleuthero and rhodiola, they're also considered adaptogens. So we're going to see them later when we talk about adaptogens. So again, as you're like, if you're kind of coming up, we would do this in the class when we're coming up with tea formulations, and you're wanting to do something that is for stress, but also for mental clarity, you would look at where you would have the overlaps. Like, okay, this one can help me think clearer and have more energy at the same time while helping me calm down. or the ginkgo. And that's when we might put, if you want to think clearly and also speak to, you know, heart medicine. So we see the overlaps in the different affinities for multiple organ systems, and we can really begin to make, you know, a more effective medicine. So then we have antidepressants. So antidepressant herbs, they're not like the way you would take a medication and they would just all of a sudden just make you feel not depressed anymore, right? There's a lot of layers to this. And so use it with certain lightness, that it's not going to just make your depression just go away and disappear, right? But we look at these herbs in two different ways. Antidepressants that, you know, do help minimizing your depression, but also as uplifters. They uplift your mood. So herbs that are considered antidepressants: lavender, St. John's wort, we all know, mimosa, schisandra. Then there's uplifters, which is the lemon balm, damiana, and tulsi. So when you're wanting to kind of lift your mood and not feel so down, you would look at these herbs in both as a general antidepressant, and then also something that can help turn the mood, turn the frown upside down, right? And uplift your general energy, your outlook, your mood. I love lemon balm for that. I personally love lemon balm for that as actually like a body oil. I find that it just really makes me feel sunny. So do these make sense? How you can use these in alignment with the sedatives and relaxants? Because a lot of people when I took the quiz of like, what are you feeling? The overwhelming answer was confused and didn't know what to do, right? And so when we can't get our thoughts right, then we turn to these nootropics, right? What herbs can help us get our clarity of thought? You know, yeah, we want to be chilled out. We want to not be anxious, because that does help our clarity of thought too. But what herbs can then also specifically help our brain have the power and function that it needs to focus on the tasks at hand, which will also make us less stressed, right? And finish what we have to do because we can focus, which will also give us less anxiety, right? So feeding our brain helps us also with the other effects of intense stress and anxiety and just not being able to chill out. Yeah. So to lift the mood, a good blend is skullcap and lemon balm, because you're getting the antispasmodic, relaxant benefits. So that's also helping your body relax, right? The antispasmodics in both skullcap and lemon balm, if you're like this, helps your body relax, helps relieve the physical tension, and brighten your mood, help you feel happier, feel a little bit better, feel more cup is half full as opposed to half empty, right? And then to focus your mind, skullcap, rosemary, and or tulsi, they help with that. Again, calm the body, sharpen the mind, lift the spirits. Kind of cool, right? Plants are neat, yeah? I think they're so cool. Let's fangirl the plants. All right. Ooh. All right, so then we have tofu restoratives or tonics. So we'll think about this as tofu restorative. Focus on the word restorative, right? So these are herbs that kind of restore the original intent of our nervous systems, right? The way we were built outside of the insanity of 2022, right? The way our nervous system ideally would function. These herbs help that. So these are used for the nervous system exhaustion, insomnia, chronic emotional and mental stress. Come on, my cat. So this is just when, you just can't get over the top. And this is most of us. So most of us should be incorporating these into our lives on a regular basis, or at least like, every other season, go on a tonic or something. We should always be using this. They have an effect both on the musculoskeletal system, so they help our bodies physically relax, as well as the central nervous system to help us be able to withstand all the stimulation, right? Like there are also nervine stimulants, but like their coffee, green tea, we don't really need a whole lot more stimulation, right? Most of us need ways to relax from the excessive stimulation we have, right? So these kind of help us be able to withstand. And yeah. So these are oat straw, milky oats. This is the same plant. Skullcap, damiana, blue vervain, ashwagandha, St. John's wort, lion's mane, mushroom, and tulsi. These can be used for a prolonged period of time. So if you're making medicine, I 98% only make tinctures of fresh herbs. I think that's just the best way to do it. But some of them, like St. John's wort, like I was saying, and milky oats, they need to be made fresh. St. John's wort, anything you do with St. John's wort needs to be fresh. Because the hypericum in it, like hypericum is its Latin name, but it's also like one of the constituents that has most of its benefits, and it is only available in a fresh plant. In milky oats, again, with the latex. Man, I've been making these tulsi tinctures as made with a fresh plant. It's literally the best tasting tincture I've ever had in my life. And then I'm going to give you some ideas of how to use tonics in a second. And then once you have the nervous system tonic specifically, adaptogens speak both to the nervous system and the endocrine system. So these systems are very much connected: the nervous system, the endocrine system, and the immune system. When we were talking about a lot of the synaptic centers, what they show is that the nervous system, endocrine system, and immune system tend to have the most effect. And if we think about it, stress affects our nervous system and our endocrine system, and the depletion then affects our immune system, right? So adaptogens help with that. But the thing is, oftentimes it's like, oh, you hear things, which it's not really a completely real thing, like adrenal fatigue. And they're like, oh, just push it full of adaptogens, and adaptogens are great. We should definitely be taking them. But again, what we don't talk enough about is how fried our nervous systems are, how we're completely overstimulated and stressed in that way. And so we just are putting our endocrine system through these adaptogens, but we're not also speaking to the nervous system. And a balance of these is really helpful at nourishing from the inside out. And then again, it boosts your immune system. Plus, so many of those herbs that had the volatile oils, those are antiviral, right? So lemon balm is something they'll use for like helping against herpes, a virus, right? A lot of these herbs, that's again where that herb and that action, they have multiple applications that I'm not even talking about in this slide, which we will talk about in the course because we talk about all the actions. But so in effect, we're treating the nervous system. We're also treating the digestive system. We're treating our reproductive system. We're supporting our immune system. Like there's so many things converging when we're able to also speak to our nervous system as well. But adaptogens are key. So they help our bodies increase resistance to the stress of life, physical, chemical, emotional, all these things. They have a normalizing effect and tonic effect on the HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal axis, right? Our endocrine system is what releases so many of our hormones, and not just our like sexual reproductive hormones, but all of the hormones that are like the chemicals telling our body what to do, right? But they do also have an effect on our periods and stuff, right? Our body knows when it's supposed to do what it's supposed to do because the brain tells it to. They're also used for chronic infection, again, nervous exhaustion, again, and deficiency. So they're supportive of all those things. And like I said, immune system, endocrine system, and the nervous system. So some adaptogens, American ginseng, ashwagandha, eleuthero, licorice, nettle. Nettle isn't necessarily considered an adaptogen, but it's so beneficial in many ways that it does act as an amazing tonic and nourishing herb. Reishi mushroom, rhodiola, schisandra, shatavari, tulsi. So again, we're seeing some repeats, right? The eleuthero is down here, ashwagandha is down here, tulsi is down here. And these were also in a few of the other actions. These also can be used for longer periods of time. Licorice you take more with other herbs. It's not one you would just take on its own though, per se. Is anybody on an adaptogen or nervine tonic on a regular basis right now?
I'm gonna start trying to use Tulsi more regularly.
I use Tulsi pretty regularly and Schisandra. I love Schisandra so much.
I made some things that I really wanted to use Schisandra for, but then I could never take it. So I just took that as my body sign that I didn't need it right now. Like I just could never remember. When that happens, it's usually just not the time.
It's surprisingly really amazing with milk.
Do that.
I made a mixture. I found this recipe with it was with rose, ashwagandha, and Schisandra, and I didn't think it would work. I thought it would be really, really sour, and it wasn't. It was super sweet. It was super delicious. It was really great, and we have it all the time when we've had like a hard day.
Nice. And that sounds really luscious.
It's really
Schisandra is considered like the 5 flavor. Yeah, so it speaks to all the
yeah, it's a really, really cool like little berry to work with.
Yeah, I'm waiting for my body to tell me it's time. I thought it was, my mind said it was, and then my body could never take the damn thing. It's literally sitting right next to all my other herbs, and I just never took it. And I was like, all right, I'm not gonna push it. It's not it. One day. Another one that's not on here that I've been just playing with is astragalus. Is another good adaptogen. So ways to incorporate these tonics and adaptogens into your routine. So overnight nourishing herbal infusions of nettle or linden or oat straw are really, really good. So you would just take, this is lemon balm oil that I've been using. Don't mind that it says ashwagandha, it's not. This is what I use every night on my own body, so my labels can be all over the place. Anyway, you fill your jar with about this much. They say you should definitely weigh it and all this stuff, but I personally am a busy mom. I just can't do all that to make sure I'm getting exactly this or that for my own infusions at night. So I fill a good bit of one of the herbs, nettle or linden or oat straw. You can also do red clover, red raspberry leaf, alfalfa. Those are the ones that are coming to my head, but those, you can also do those. But these are specifically for the nervous system, about here. And then you pour hot boiling water over it, put the lid on, let it sit overnight, and then strain it and drink it the next day. you're getting so much nutrients, benefits. Nettle and oat straw specifically, they have so many vitamins and minerals, and oat straw has like silica, so it's just really good. When my son broke his arm, nettle and oat straw was something I put in the tea to help build his bones back, and nourish his skeletal system. Linden is also great because it is a relaxing herb, so it's beneficial for the nervous system when you take it as an infusion. It's also good for the heart. And other ways are the tinctures. You can do the milky oats tinctures. I'm growing milky oats right now for the first time. I screamed when I saw, I hadn't been to the garden for the whole weekend. And then I came back and they like the oats sprouted. I saw them and I like literally screamed. I was like, ah! I'm so excited. I only recently have ever seen them in person because I found them on this random road, just like 2 plants out of nowhere. And I squeezed it and it was ready. And I have this tiny little personal tincture I made. But with the ones I have growing, I'm going to make like tinctures for my shop come later this year. But I'm just super excited because it's such a good tonic. And I've never made it before because I've never experienced the plant fresh. Reishi and lion's mane tinctures are great. Last year, 2020 and 2021 are my like introductions to being able to find both of those in the wild. The wild of my suburbia, but in nature, I'll say. And making a tincture of both of those. With those, I like to do a double extraction because they have benefits that you get from water and benefits that you get from alcohol. So I would do some of them infused in alcohol and then some of it infused in water and make a tincture like that. That's called a double extraction. You're extracting in both ways to get both of those benefits. But these are ways to incorporate, and then any of those, ashwagandha, tulsi, shisandra, any of those are also really good as a tincture, or if they're roots or berries, a decoction, which is cooked a little bit longer because they're hardier material. Any of those are really beneficial. Again, all of this will be discussed in my course in much more detail. We spend like a lot more time. And I've spent the past 6 months not offering the course, really making this even more accessible and effective to understand how to do these things. And Stephanie was in the course. So see, she's making these bomb ass recipes because she's like full-fledged in it now. I'm her hype girl. Any questions? Any concerns? You know which plant this is? This is my
chamomile.
Chamomile, yeah, okay. Go ahead. That's your question, babe.
Wait, was I right?
Yeah, girl.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You're getting good. You keep sending me all these plants. You're getting there.
Okay, I have 2 dumb questions. So the first one is, what is the difference between milky oats and oat straw? Is it the same?
Okay, so it's the same plant. The milky oats are like the seeds, the oat of the plant. So we take those off and they have one benefit, which is that latex in it. But the whole plant is beneficial for the nervous system. So once you take the oats off, then you cut the straw, and that's the oat straw.
Okay, cool. That makes more sense.
Yeah. So
Second
both
thing, like
beneficial, but you extract and get the medicine in different ways.
Got it. Okay. My second question is, like, how do you know what herbs like you shouldn't combine? Like, for example, like I really want to do like a overnight infusion with nettle, oat straw, and tulsi. Like, how do you know what you shouldn't combine? Like, what would be gross? Like,
Okay. No, that's a good question.
I just want to combine everything.
So a lot of those herbs, those relaxant herbs that have a lot of volatile oils, you don't want to do an overnight infusion because if they have the volatile oils, when they are steeped for a long amount of time, it's too much extraction and the taste is not good. So you would do them in like an infusion, like a tea. Or you would make a tincture, because that's a great way to extract the volatile oils. So if the plant is very aromatic in that way, oftentimes long water extractions are not the way to go. Nettle and oat straw are neither very aromatic, so you can tell that they're more nutritious in that way, and so they're great in that. Red clover, linden. Linden has a beautiful smell, but that's more because of the type of tree it is. It's not the same type of aromatic as these other plants. Does that answer your question? At least with
Yeah. So nettle and oat straw would be good for an overnight infusion.
great for an overnight infusion.
But
I love the
Tulsi,
taste of
do
both
something
of
else.
them in overnight infusions better than as a tea. And
Okay.
nettle can be kind
Cool.
of drying, but when you put it in an overnight infusion, it's it has more of a neutral or moistening what's it called? Energetic.
Okay, cool. And then like with Tulsi, just make like a tincture.
Yeah, or you can do the tea, but you want it as a
Tea.
tea.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, hi, Charlotte. I figured out how to do the chat. Yeah. So you can drink Tulsi, absolutely, but you just won't want to have it overnight. Same thing with chamomile. Chamomile steeped for a really long time becomes really bitter. Yeah. Any other questions? Let's see, nothing in the chat. All right, well, so if you like this, then you'll love, I've been, talking about it this whole time. I have my beginner's path to herbalism course. It's coming up. We're going to start in June. And we're going to talk a lot about all of these things, but broken down, right? Bit by bit. And I've really orchestrated it to where it's even more seamless and even clearer to grasp, right? Stephanie was definitely like one of my earlier trial runs. And even that, she has her own business that she's making herbal things with, and I'm teaching alongside another student. So it's only like up an expansion from what you can do when you learn these things. So we spent a lot of time because we're going to bring even more energetics and herbal actions and understanding the body systems even more. We spent like 3 whole modules on this, really breaking it down so you know what it is for the kidneys, what it is for the heart, what do you do for your reproductive system, and exactly like what the actions are. And now we're going to talk even more about the energetics, so you do know if it's more drying or cooling or moistening, and then how to put them together. We do a plant identification module which I know y'all know because Jody and Amelia, y'all stay sending me pictures. Is this? Is this this? Is this? So y'all know that's my bread and butter. I love that. And we're going to be looking at the plant families, because when we understand what family it's in, we can kind of understand, oh, the mint family tend to have more volatile oils, and we use that for this. Oh, the legume family is good with phytoestrogen, so it's probably good for this. And so we're going to really understand and break that down, and when to forage what parts, doctrine of signatures. It's super fun. And then we also break down the phytochemistry. What the heck does it mean for a volatile oil, and how do I get it? What is an alkaloid? What does it do? Well, these things have certain affinities for body systems. So when we know what they are, we know how to use the plants, right? We know, like you're saying, do I get it in alcohol? Do I get it in vinegar? Do I do it like, why am I making a honey out of it? Like, what the heck are we doing here? We can get all the recipes all over the internet, but like, why? What is it good for? How do I use it? And we make our simples, right? We're going to make each, we're going to make a vinegar. We're going to make an alcohol tincture. We're going to make the honey. So that's Stephanie's favorite, right? Making the honey. And we're going to make teas. We're going to work with specific herbs every week and do monographs so you can really understand how to learn these herbs in all different ways. And then we're going to make the formulas, right? How do we put this with this? Just like what you asked. How do I know? And I've really broken it down to be even clearer to help you guys understand how to do this going forward. And so you can, we're going to infuse oils. So you can make a cream or a salve or, an elixir. And I'm going to have you be a little bit more specific where everyone makes something that's for your immune system. So when the season comes, everyone already has the medicine you made specifically for this. And then you know how to make it going forward, whether you just want to give it to yourself or give it to family for presents, or just take care of your family, you know, as a mom. Or if you want to eventually start your own herbal business and use all the medicines growing in your garden, whatever you want to do, right? You get a box of herbs, and you get your own tincture bottle and the wax and all the different things. Like, it's already just sent to you. And the best part, my favorite part, is that while we're learning all this science and all the, how do I do this exactly like this? Then every moon, on the new and full moon, we have these tea parties where I don't let you think it. And you just have to intuitively choose your tea. And we sit there and we do that like inner work, right? With what you're working to cultivate, what you're learning to let go. And this is so beautiful because we've been working together for a while. And like, I'm trying not to swear, but things are happening, right? We're really shifting. And that's beautiful because other women in past programs, or who has done any sadhana with me or anything I've ever done, gets to come to these. So we really have this beautiful community that's just growing and flourishing of like dope ass, kick ass, healing ass women. It's like, it's like my favorite. And we have 2 guest teachers. Stephanie is one of them because she is like the badass bruja, man. She can tell us like all about these herbs, right? I can tell you all about how to make them for medicine. And she's gonna tell you how to get that evil eye off you, how to cleanse your house, when to use it for which moon and why, and what bath blend do you need for, you know, for this or for that. And she's gonna tell you how to just bring the magic in. And then Emily was gonna take us on these amazing plant journeys to connect with the plant spirit of it. Everything I did in the other 2 rounds that was pretty good. It's like, I just push all the things to just make it really special. So this, like when you join, it's going to be the summer that propels you. That's the goal, right? To really transform, you know, all these really cool ideas. I want to make this tea. I want to do this. This is the thing that's going to be able to like really bring it to life. And my intention every time is to just activate our inner medicine woman, right? My inner medicine woman is very much the feral Idgy Threadgood, right? The, you know, you can't tame me. I'm going to just be out here doing my own thing, be charmer. That's very much my inner medicine woman, right? But we all have her. And Emily is actually going to lead us on an inner journey to tap into and recognize our inner medicine woman. And I promise you, it's going to change your life. Right, Jody? Her journeys are like, woo, they're like next level. All of us in our current, I'm co-teaching with her in the Herbalist in Every Home, and she does that part of the journeys, like, whew, they just next level it up, I promise you. Like, it's everyone's favorite part. So how this works is the class is one payment of $557, which is, like I said, the other thing, like, it's a steal, honestly. And I won't ever have it at this price again. And you can do 2 payments of $285 or 3 payments of $200. But if you're on the wait list and if you're in this class, it will just be the $557. You will only do 2 payments of $279.50 or 3 payments of $185. It won't go up because you were on this class and you signed up through this and you're ready to activate that inner medicine woman. So this will only be available for 3 days, just through Friday this week, where you get it for just this lowest payment, lowest price offer of $557. So you're saving some money here, and you're saving a good bit of money here, right? Because you know, payment plans are great. I've done almost all of my healing and educational advancements through payment plans. I wouldn't have been able to do anything if I had to pay everything in full. Also, this was part of the original course, but I'm shifting it around. I'm doing, if you sign up through this in the next 3 days, or if you're on the wait list, there's this bonus masterclass on the Zongfu, the organ pairing in traditional Chinese medicine. I love this. I think it's the most awesome baseline for understanding how our body is connected. And it's not just, oh, the organs that are connected, but it's also how they're connected to the seasons, how they're connected to the elements, how they're connected to the flavors, to the emotions, to the colors. And so this class is going to just be broken down, but only if you sign up through this, or if you're on the wait list. It won't be just a bonus for everybody that signs up. This is just for people who get it this week or have already signed up. And this is like, I just love this so much. And when we begin to break down certain things, even understanding Shasandra being the 5 flavor berry, right? What are the 5 flavors that are connected to the 5 organ pairings, right? It all starts to come together and gives you really good clues into what our body need at certain seasons, at certain times, what organs are like screaming for help, right? And then you're learning all the affinities, all these things, and it's like, oh, I got it. That's no problem. This becomes second nature. So this is a bonus just for this. And that's the last slide. So that is, if this resonated with you, if you're like, I just want to learn more about herbs, I just want to use them for everything, I just want my life to expand and activate these parts of myself that come alive when you do herbal medicine, let me know. You'll get a link in an email today, later tonight, or in the morning. I'm not sure. And that link will only last for these discounts and these bonus through the end of the week. And yeah, any questions, any thoughts? Oh, we've got a chat. Let's see. Nice to see you. Oh, she's in Spain. How fun. All right.